And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And today we're on our water world base, and it's time to decide what we want to do with all this water. There was a lot of suggestions in the comments. One of the very popular ones was, let's turn all of this water into steam, as in boil the entire planet into steam, which was, yes, a very tempting one. Another one was, take all of this water and fire it at the fire planet, as in, where is it? Yes, this planet over here, the Tostibo? Yeah. I like that idea too. We could take all the water, fire it in cannons over there, or we could take all of the magma from the other planet, ship that over here, and dump the magma into this place and boil it. But one I thought that was very interesting was, what if we took all of this water, fed it to Bristle Blossoms, and basically just drained this entire ocean and turned it into food? How much food would that even give us? Now, we could do the math and try and figure it out, 1,000 kilos, X minute, but that's not nearly as much fun as actually just doing it. And then I thought, what would be even more fun is if we took all of this water, turned it into Bristle Blossoms, but did it sneakily. As in, we make a secret base down here, and we don't leave anything on top. This place will look perfectly normal, and then you'll just hear this sort of slurping noise as we drain all the water out of it all the way down. So yes, we're going to make ourselves a secret base on this island. Yeah, and then drain the entire thing and turn it all into Bristle Blossoms and see how much we get. First up, though, we have our emergencies to deal with. The first emergency is the suits. These suits have a durability, and we're down to 9% on one, so we need to get ourselves up a maintenance stock ASAP. In fact, I could have sworn we only had 2 suits still working, but never mind. We've got 3, so we're going to dig in here, and we're going to ourselves put in a suit maintenance stock so we can repair any of our suits that get damaged. One thing we made sure to bring plenty of with us when we came here was reed fiber. We've got 50 of them. That way we can do a whole bunch of suit repair while we're building our little base. First thing we need to do is make ourselves a liquid lock to get in here. Now, I don't want to dig into that oxalite, so we'll say that will be the base of it. There, and there. Will that work? Yeah, you see, we need to be careful here. What we want to do is dig in, but when it comes to making liquid locks out of water, one material, it won't work down at this depth. You'll see here the water is pressurized to about 1,200 kilos. Which means if we just make a liquid lock out of water, it'll force its way through and out the other side and flood the other section. So we need to use, well, this nuclear waste that's lying around, that will actually come in real handy. Of course, there is other problems as well. We're going to get pressure damage from things getting too much. Will that work? Yeah, that should kind of work. We're going to have to, yeah, do that. In fact, we'll put ourselves down a little ladder section there. We need to do this fairly quickly, though, because if we don't, we're going to end up in trouble when our suits become problematic. Oh, also they're telling me it's really hot. Oh, yeah. We brought a whole bunch of steel with us, but it's 127 degrees. Temperature in here is getting pretty toasty. If it gets to 70, they start getting scalded. So I think maybe the first emergency thing we should do is put ourselves down, where is it? Yeah, we'll put ourselves down one of these, and we're going to fill that full of steel. We're going to take all the steel out of the capsule before we melt it. And okay, let's see. One moment, we need to mop up that nuclear waste for a second. We're going to need that. In fact, we're going to get rid of this as well. This is going to be a bit of a tricky job. I shouldn't have deleted that tile, actually. That was... never mind. Right, delete that out of there. We're going to put in this plumbing section for a bottle emptier. Nope, give me sandstone. Sandstone is going to be our most common material. And then what we want to do is, after we've built this... Yeah, that seems about right. We're going to put ourselves a blob of nuclear waste right there. Give me nuclear waste. And make that a level 8 command. And come on. Come on. Oh, they're doing the steel. Perfect. Now you'll notice that nuclear waste has stayed quite handily right there. Now all we have to do is delete this. And we're going to put in an airflow tile right here, just to prevent any pressure damage. I'm not sure how much pressure problems we're going to have here, but I'd like to be really safe. The great thing about airflow tiles is they can't take pressure damage, so putting one there should keep us nicely safe from any water trying to blast its way in there. And done. We'll end up with a little bit of water leaking into the place, and oh wow, that sandstone is already getting pressure damaged. See, there's 1,200 kilos of water pressure here. That seems to be... Why? You know what? Let's do that there. Yeah, that should be fine. Go. Stop. Why are you all acting like it's radiated here? Oh, 200 rads. Yeah, the engine pretty much contaminated this ocean quite badly. 40-50 cycles, that'll go away. It'll be fine. Probably. Oh, damn it. Okay, we're going to make that 3 tiles thick. Quick. Reinforce that. I don't want that breaking. We might want to actually put the steel up there instead. We need about 3 layers thick of normal tile to stop any pressure damage from the water. That one seems to be holding though. Alright, alright. Come on. And we'll dig in there. Just go on, fill it in. Perfect, perfect. It's just I'm a little bit worried that we're going to run out of suits. If we run out of suits, we're going to have to fly back home. I'd rather not. The less contamination we do of this ocean, the better if we want to make it a secret base. Alright, in here we're going to put in our suit repair. 1 exosuit forge, 1 jumbo battery, 1 manual generator. And that's going to bring us into all of the problems we're going to face. Oh, yeah, is that stopping it? That should be stopping any more water pressure from getting in. Right there. Yeah, that's just that 1 blob that we let in. That's fine. 1 blob. I was kind of expecting that. But that's fine. We can mop that up and we're going to have use for the water anyway at some point, I'm sure. Quick clean up of the place, and then we can finish off building all of this stuff. There we go. That'll charge up the battery. This thing only takes 480 watts, so 1 generator is not going to get up with it, but 1 battery there should sort things out. Oh, and we might want to put a tile right there. Yeah, there's plenty of oxygen in here. Just because otherwise that oxalate tile will eventually fade away, and that thing would be... Where are we? Atmosuit ducts worn. Perfect. Okay, that's a weight off. That means we should be fairly safe when it comes to staying here for as long as we need to. Well, until our 50 reed fiber runs out. Next up, we want to land our second rocket. Now, that radiation, that fallout, that will eventually dissipate into the vacuum of space. We don't have to worry about that. We will have to go up and mop up all of that mess that's up there at some point and clean up any leftover debris. We want to make this place look, you know, spotlessly clean. But I've been trying to figure out a place to land the second rocket, and we can't really land it without digging out a bunch of stuff here. So I think we should land the rocket down here. Assuming we can scout this area and find nothing, we could probably land it way down here, closer to where we want to make our base. We want to make ourselves a nice secret underground base, so we're going to make it down here. So if we could get that second rocket down there, that would actually give us a much closer access point for building. Let me just finish a couple of things here. The plan is quite simple. For our first initial... Well, now that we've got this set up and we're good on suit repair, we're going to extend our ladder system down here, make sure it goes all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to scout across here to see what we've got. And we're also going to have another ladder system go up here and scout across there so we can see what we've got there. It'll take a few minutes, but I want to make sure we scout out a nice place to land our rocket. Well, it seems we have a nice little rocket corridor right here. So that's where we're going to put our second one. I figure, yeah, right down here somewhere. Yeah, right about there maybe. We'll have to do a little bit of digging out, but that gets us nice and low down, and yeah, that looks actually perfect. Take a little bit of effort to get it right. We might have to build that down just a little bit so we can get over there to dig out those tiles. Otherwise, they won't be able to finish building that from there. With the rocket silo up, there's another couple of things I want to take care of while we're here. One is scouting down. We want to try and preserve as much of this area as possible. These areas have already flooded. I think, yeah, rocks broke somewhere or pressure damage got to things. So I want to try and get down here and block this off. I prefer to keep a little bit more... We might actually seal off the bottom of the map and then pump out some of the water just so we have a larger base to work with. We're going to need to plant so many Bristle Blossoms. Plus, power. How do we power this whole thing? Think about it. We can't leave solar panels up on top of the map. So I've been thinking if we can't put solar up there, well, shipping over oil or gas is just not really economical. Our best bet is to just go nuclear. So we're going to need a mini nuclear reactor to run our base. Though I suppose if you're making a secret underwater base and you're powering it with a nuclear reactor, it stops being a base and becomes a lair. I'm not sure of the exact nomenclature, but that seems appropriate. And while we're here, let's actually call down the rocket. I probably should have done that already. I want you to land here. Oh, actually, I do want to see that come down. Watching a rocket land in water is one of those special occasions. You don't really get to see it very often. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Just coming into view. Yeah, and look at those beautiful solar panels on you that will do us absolutely zero good because you're going to be under an enormous amount of water. Oh well, still looks... Hey, where's my rocket engine trail? The radiation's there, but I was really hoping for... Well, I suppose on the bright side it shouldn't pollute our... Okay, that state of vacuum, that's actually useful for us. I thought we're going to have to go up here at some point and clean up the nuclear waste and stuff we left behind, just so the place looks more abandoned. But I think, yeah, I think we should be good. Now that we've got both crews here, we can start on actual base building. Well, exploration is done, and if you'll notice down here, we have refined iron. There's literally raw refined iron just lying about the place that we can dig out. We also have a whole bunch of iron ore. The iron ore we can use for making airflow tiles. They'll be very handy for preventing pressure damage. The obsidian and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of good rocks down here we can also use. But I'm thinking we'll put in an entrance in here, and this will be the entrance to our underground lair. I like the sound of that. Okay, you are already repairing a suit. I am so glad we installed this. Just means we don't end up getting stranded. Alright. Who's getting scalded? How? I took all the steel out, I thought. No, there's still 5 tons of the stuff left. Ooh. Okay, okay. We need to get the last of the steel out of there as quickly as possible. Yeah, I put some up there. Yeah, okay. Scaldings have stopped. That's good. That's good. Now we can get around to putting in our airlock for here. Now this is going to be far more permanent, this place down here. So we're going to want to build this with straight up airflow tiles to start, because we don't want to ever have to change this sucker. Yeah, something along those lines. And we'll put in a roof across the... No, that's... Yeah, we'll put a roof right about there. Yeah, that should work. Now we don't want to put it all in at once. So we'll do that there. In fact, that needs to be a bottle emptier. We need to be real careful here because we can't undo stuff once we've done it. If water floods in, it's much more difficult to get it out than it is to let it in. Somehow in all the digging, we managed to destroy the nuclear waste that was down here, which is a bit of an annoyance. That's a limited resource. Well, I suppose we can always keep relaunching and landing the rockets, so I'd prefer not to completely contaminate the place while we're here. That can be continued on over there. Yeah, and then we're going to want to dig up, go across. In fact, let's just continue that on a little bit more. No point being coy at this point. Okay, perfect. So that puts all the nuclear waste there. That means we should be able to deconstruct that and start digging the suckers out. Very simple, straightforward plan. We're going to dig in, and then we're going to go with our traditional, let's just core this whole sucker out until there's nothing left. Across here, I think we're going to chuck in airflow tiles. Maybe, actually, if you had to put that rocket up another couple of tiles, that might have been a nice idea. But yeah, we'll dig in through here, we'll grab ourselves as much of that iron ore as possible, and we'll use that iron ore to maybe seal in, yeah, across there. Then we can drain out all of this area here, and we have a nice big area to build our lair in. First time to core out some areas. Excavation is going really well, namely because our team is amazing. They've been at this for a while. This is what, their 3rd or 4th planet at this point. We've also made a few changes here. One is we've put in these doors leading up to each capsule. I'm going to stop them going into the wrong capsules by just putting door controls before it. Before we used to land the rockets right beside each other, this wasn't really practical, but now it is actually feasible to do this. So now, the only people allowed into those rockets are the people who belong in them. No more warnings about people can't access their wherever anymore. They can just wander into each rocket as they see fit. And they can only use their own bathrooms. Very, very important. And how are we looking on steel over here? Yeah, we got loads of steel for this construction project, but what we're grabbing down here is iron ore. We're going to use that iron ore to do ourselves a nice little wall in across the top here, so that we make sure we can seal in this section. So once we've cored this out, we should know exactly how much iron ore we have to work with and where exactly those airflow tiles should go. Well, now that we've got more than enough resources to start, I'm thinking it's time to put in our little nuclear reactor. I'm thinking we can squeeze in a mini reactor right here. Plus, it's as close as we're going to get to our entrance, and I'd like to have it somewhere close by so that it doesn't take too long to build. This is going to be our big limiter right now, is power. Without power, we can't actually pump water out of some of these areas that we want to use. Well, not unless we want to stick duplicates on top of hamster wheels, and that's just no fun. Especially considering we now have to figure out how we're going to squeeze in a tiny little controlled nuclear reactor right here. Oh, and I had to put in some reinforcing walls here. Turns out that lime does not make a good water barrier. Okay, and with that in, I think something like that. Actually, one second. Let's maybe put in that first. Put in a layer of igneous rock tiles first, just to force some of the water out, and then we'll put a layer of airflow tiles on top of that. This water in here, we're going to have to do something with it to get rid of it, but, you know, that can wait. What we really need to worry about, power. Of course, then I remembered we could just force the water out with blocks. I've done the same thing with steam, so water, same difference. We'll just build in blocks. That'll force all the water out of this section, and then once the water's all out of here, come on, just finish that off. Oh, come on. Get that one piece. That one piece. Come on. Done. Once the water's all out of here, we can just break it across the top, and that'll give us plenty of room to make our nuclear reactor. Just give me a couple of min. Sealed in. All the water out. This looks like we could easily make whatever we want down here. Oh, we're still going to have to ship over all the enriched uranium. But on the bright side, that's the smallest amount of fuel you can possibly send around the place. Its energy density is unparalleled for anything else in the game. Alright, let's core this out really quick. And this house is clean. Well, okay, we haven't swept it or anything, but it's definitely an awful lot better than it was. In fact, we may want to put in a few storage bins over here and do a quick sweep just to get rid of all of this gunk. Well, we don't leave the bottom of our reactor full of debris. We want to be able to get in and out of there. Now, the question is, how do we fit in a reactor into an area where we can only go across about, 19 tiles? 18? 18 tiles. Yeah, this is going to be a tight fit, especially considering how big this sucker is. And we're going to want to stick in about we're going to want 4 steam turbines. 4 steam turbines seems like a reasonable amount. Let me think about this. Actually, let's get the sweeping started and we'll think about it then after. What is this? Sandstone? No. Sandstone is no longer our most common material anymore, I think. I think our most common material would be igneous rock, or actually granite. This could take a minute or two. Oh, God. We could install auto sweepers and all that, but we don't have the power to do that just yet. Everything always comes back to power. The nuclear reactor always goes the same way. You're going to need a liquid pump to take out all of the nuclear waste. You're going to need a thermal sensor to make sure when you want to turn stuff on and off. Well, for this instance, we're going to want to turn it on and off. And we're going to want a hydro sensor in there so that we can... Yeah, actually, we'll get rid of that tile as well. We've got the space here. We're going to want a hydro sensor in there so we can tell when the liquid pump point to turn on and off. And we're going to have to put a temperature sensor on the aqua tuner as well to make sure it can turn on and off for coolant. But then we got to figure out where we want to strap the steam turbines and the reactor on top of all of this. This here should be the guts of the design. Well, hopefully. What we're trying to do here is have the reactor mounted up there. We're going to have to put in some automation to make sure it's not on all the time. We just want it on for, well, a sort of an on-demand nuclear reactor. I think I can get this to work right. It shouldn't be too bad. Right to there. Then we're also going to need a bunch of other automation to make sure this sucker works right, but temperature sensor is going to be part of it. We'll go through the automation in the end. I just want to make sure that reactor doesn't turn on when we do build it. We also need a whole bunch... We need to send over some plastic, so I'm going to have to get onto our gun back... Where is it? Oh god, yeah, it's going to take a while. Over here. Yeah, we have our launcher gun over here. We're going to have to load that up with some plastic and fire that over. We're going to need plastic to make the steam turbines. We're also going to need to send over some enriched uranium. We could send a rocket back and forth, but you know what? Firing enriched uranium out of a cannon just sounds like way more safe. Easy. This should successfully launch about a ton of plastic over to where we're going. We only need about 800 kilos, but it's always good to have a little bit of spare lying around, just in case something does go wrong. And, oh, come on. Stop cleaning yourself and get on with it. Such a drama queen. Come on. Yeah, the game is definitely a little bit slow. And done. Okay. Now, the question is, where's that going to land when it gets there? Like, it's in flight, it's going to take it half a cycle. I'm thinking, One thing I did do was I built this down here. The targeter. However, I haven't actually hooked it up to a battery yet. You know what? Let's hook that up right now and make that a priority 6. Just, it would be nice if that landed right there, just to make our lives a little bit easier. Then we're going to want to get an unpacking device. I didn't realize for the longest time that when it comes to unpacking those, unpacking the packages, you don't actually need power. Where is it? Here it is. Payload opener under rocketry. These things, no power requirements. You just plop them down, and as long as you have a duplicate, they can operate it. That's it. That's all it needs. Alright, and yeah, yours that's level 5. That's grand. We're slowly going to get our little reactor up and running, unless I need to make some major design changes or unless I've messed up somewhere. Oh. Hamson. Good job. You know what? Why don't you deconstruct that tile and the tile just beneath it, and then you'll be able to get out of there. You muppet. Our plastic is about to arrive in the next 14 seconds. I'm kind of curious to see where it lands. The thing is, we didn't have it turned on when we launched, so all that matters is that it's on when they arrive. Because if that's all that matters, it could save you an awful lot of energy yet. Oh, they fall way slower through water. Okay, you learn something new every day. Oh, we'll find out if they can get stopped by regular doors. No, they cannot, and they don't get stopped by rocket pads. Okay, all valuable information to know, all things I didn't know before today, and things I didn't know I needed to know. Alright, over here, we'll start putting in the steam turbine look as well, so you can see exactly how this sucker is going to end up looking. We're going to seal in this reactor across the top, so that the only way in will be through here. And then we're actually going to seal the whole thing in. We don't ever want to come in here again because we didn't bring rad suits. And we're probably going to not go near this whole section up here. We're not really using this for its radiation, we don't care. That means all of this is going to be sealed up and never touched again, hopefully, if we've done it right. If we've done it wrong, well, things will get very messy. So let's hope we haven't done it wrong. To cool down our steam turbines, we could use water, but we've got supercoolant back home. I say we fire some supercoolant over here to do the cooling. We're also going to need a bunch of metals. We could use the iron that's lying around the place and all the steel we've brought, but that feels wasteful. We're going to fire over cobalt, supercoolant, and I think that's about all we need to make this little reactor work. I really want to get this. Oh, and I was just thinking, I could have made this 2 tiles narrower if I had made this. If I had increased this by 1 tile up, say moved all of this up 1 tile, you could our duplicants could wander in under it, and then we could squeeze in these steam turbines. We could move everything 2 tiles to the right. In fact, we could have moved this 1 tile over to the right, so we could have squeezed this in 3 tiles closer to the right and saved ourselves a bunch of space. But you live and you learn. Probably should have planned a little bit better, but yeah, hindsight is always 20/20. I am wondering how long it will take me to get bored of watching those shells just hit the water like that. That's on normal speed, so we're not actually at high speed there. We're just on normal speed. That's how slowly they float through the water. That's it's definitely interesting. Gotta give it that. Oh, and one more just to the right. Oh, I'm almost tempted to move this down a little bit further here so we could maybe shorten the commute, but I think that's close enough. Plus, it's just hilarious. Back home now, we are sending over more than... Oh, damn it, I gotta check if we can get another duplicate out of there, but in a minute. We're sending over supercoolant, and we're also sending over cobalt. We're going to want the supercoolant so that we can cool down the steam turbines, and the cobalt just for running radiant pipes, and just general metal as opposed to wasting all the steel we've brought with us. With the help of some of our new materials, we've stuck in some radiant pipes here. This is going to be our cooling loop powered by the aquatuner. All the supercoolant will come through here, get cool down the steam turbines to make sure they don't overheat. You still have to seal all this in, but for now it's fine. Over here, this is going to be the outputs from the steam turbines. They're going to go up here, and they're going to get dumped into the reactor to keep the reactor going. Oh, 1 second. I want to queue up some of these while we're here. You can be made out of granite. Then it'll go into the reactor primarily. If there's any overflow, it'll get sent back in here to provide cooling to the base down this section. And then over here, I completely blanked. This is where the nuclear waste is going to get extracted, and it's going to come out the top. We're going to have to find somewhere to store all that stuff, though. We can't dump it into the background of space, remember. This is a secret base, so we're going to have to compress it somewhere and hide it underground. Awkward, but we'll sort something out. We could have also split the water into hydrogen and oxygen and lived on hydrogen, but I kind of want to save all the water for the plants. I'm really curious to see how many plants we can make out of this. We will have to provide oxygen for our farmers. Oh, which reminds me, I should go recruit a farmer. Our farmer choices are not great. We've got a researcher with cuisine, but we're not going to be doing any cooking. We're going to have to harvest about 300 bristleberries if you want to consume 10 kilos of water per second. That means, yeah, no cooking. You're just going to be spending all day farming. In fact, I'm going to go with 2 farmers. I've already got 1 hired. This is the second. I'm thinking, well, this one's got research, which will make them skill up faster. And green thumb? Yeah, we gotta go with that one. Nick here will be joining the farming team, though I do need to put down a second gym section here. I've got a manual generator already installed. We'll put down another one here. I've just brought over some temperature shift plates made out of gold amalgam. The reason being, the only people who are going to be allowed in here are the trainees, and I can't let anyone else in or they'll get stuck on the generator. So what I do is I just set them to actually build their own manual generators to run on. It feels almost cruel, but, you know, it's just more convenient on door permissions. Since all of our resource storage is over here, that's where all the gold amalgam is, our newest duplicants can't get past the doors. They're not allowed outside. That's why I built a couple of temperature shift plates out of gold amalgam here, just so that they had something they could bring in here to build these things with. Oh, I tried to make the ceiling light out of copper, didn't I? That was a mistake. That should be gold amalgam as well. That's the only resource they've got access to. Once that's done, those two can start running. In fact, if we check the skills section here, you'll see that Jerome has already gotten, what? They're up to 8 science, 8 athletics, and 6 machinery. They only need 3 skill points. Once they have 3 skill points, that's enough to get them up to max farming. This new place, no Atmo suits required. They're going to be running around in free air. Don't be able to leave the base because, you know, they'll be submerged under many, many tons of water. But they'll have a nice oxygenated subterranean or aquatic layer. Yeah, they'll love it. We're going to want to stock the reactor full of water before we kick it off. Otherwise, we'll be dropping 400-degree water on top of a steel aquatuner and melt it. Same with the liquid pump. Well, we won't melt them, but we'll overheat them and damage them. Remember, we're not coming back in here again, so we want to make sure nothing gets burnt, damaged, even slightly cracked, or singed. Time to start sealing all of these areas off again. Then I think we can probably wall in this section, just to keep all the radiation out. It's a little bit awkward having this much radiation and only this much space to work in. I mean, we have to fit in at least 300 Bristle Blossom plots, so going to be a little tricky, but at least we'll have the power to run all the lights we're going to need. A few accounting things we have to take care of before we start this up. One, we have to get all the gases out of here. We don't want any mixed gases. We just want to, well, a vacuum. That could be a little bit tricky because we can't come back in here again. So we're going to stick in one gas pump and let it vacuum it out while we're bringing over the necessary requirements. We're going to need to bring in a whole bunch of enriched uranium. Also, we can lock these doors when we're finished, just in case we ever do have to come back in here again, because I don't want anyone chucking that on or putting a whole bunch of uranium into the reactor. If someone sticks 300 kilos of uranium into the reactor, we need to deconstruct it ASAP, otherwise the whole place is going to explode. Now, with that done... Alright, come on, just finish that off. I think we are golden. Perfect, you're good there. We will, of course, have to manually power this at first. Actually, no we don't. We've got coal. Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of coal on this planet. Yeah, we can use coal to keep this going for a while. That should be fine. And that we can seal off there. Then we'll throw in some coal generators, fire this sucker up once we've sealed it. I just want to triple check everything before we close the doors. Oh, reactor. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Let's just stick in a steel reactor right there. And so we start on the final preparations to get this up and running. Gas pump in here is going to take a bit of time to vacuum that whole place out. And plus, we're never removing it, so we'll just turn it off when we're done. Nuclear waste is going to get piped up here, and it's going to get dumped into this infinite liquid storage. Over here, this is where we put on the supercoolant. Yeah, there we go. Supercoolant should feed across that line. Supercoolant will go around here and fill up this loop. Now, we've set this to 80C at the start, namely because we don't want this drawing any power just yet. Our power production is a little bit low, I'm not going to lie. But that should go through there. Once that's full, we can use one spare blob of it right up here to, well, prime our infinite liquid storage. Though I probably won't seal that in until we get a few blobs in there. Actually, there's going to be loads of gas in there no matter what I do. You know what? We'll just wall it in with insulated tiles when the time comes. Let's get some time for this to vacuum out and for the supercoolant to fill up the loop. While we are waiting for the gas to go out, I just did a little bit of tidying up. What we've done is we've walled in all of this section here because it's full of that nasty heavy watt wire. Might as well keep the decor negatives to a minimum. At the same time, we've put in our automation wires here. So these automation wires are hooked up to our smart batteries so that these steam turbines will only turn on when they're necessary. The whole point of this is to have a reactor that only operates when it's necessary. We'll go into more on that, but over here we need to make some modifications. I was doing this infinite liquid storage here, the same one we were doing back home. Where is it? Ah, yes, over here. So that way we can cram all the nuclear waste into a small spot. That way we don't have to dump anything into the vacuum of space, and our planet looks nice and safe, and it doesn't look like anything suspicious is happening, bar that the ocean is rapidly plummeting and no one knows why. But yeah, the way this works is the petroleum floats on top of the nuclear waste, and then the nuclear waste comes in and it pushes that out of the way, and that's how it works. But you need something that floats on top. The only spare liquid we have on our planet is supercoolant, and it turns out supercoolant sinks to the bottom of nuclear waste. My bad. So this over here would not work. When we try to put in nuclear waste, it would simply float on top of this blob of supercoolant, and then it would just break down. When the moment this is at 1,000 kilos of pressure, it would overpressurize, and the vent would no longer be able to output. So instead, what we're going to do is put the vent on the bottom, which is going to be weird. I've never done this sort of waste storage where we put the vent on the bottom that way because... Oh, wait, am I doing this right? Yeah, no, this should be the way it goes. Right, that's the last piece in place. We will have to wall that in to make sure no heat escapes. Oh, which reminds me we should maybe put a little bit of insulated tiling up there. In fact, we may need a ladder segment or two to access that. The plan will be to make sure that none of the heat out of this escapes and just keep the nuclear waste contained below ground, or below ocean level. Oh, over here we've put in a very, very simplistic liquid lock. Where is it? Let me give you the gas overview. Well, this is the gas overview. You notice no gases, no gases. This whole thing has just been stripped out of gases. Just if we need emergency access to here, we can get it. I always like to just leave ourselves some emergency access just in case something goes wrong, because you know something's going to go wrong. Something always goes wrong. We are just about ready to fire this up. I did open this thing up one last time because, well, there was some debris in there I wanted to get out. We could actually deconstruct the gas pump, but I think I'll just leave it in there in case anything goes wrong. Plus, I really want to get this started right about now. Okay, we'll finish walling that in. Once that's walled in, we will be good to fire this sucker up. We fired over a bunch of uranium. We have 1,800 kilos of enriched uranium. That's enough to keep us going for 180 days. I've got at least 3 tons more on the way. That'll keep us going for a long, long time. Alright, before we load it up though, let's just triple check everything. Alright, we are good to start. Now this system it's very simple. Normally when you're using a research reactor, your dupes will come along and they'll chuck in a whole bunch of uranium. about 180, 300 kilos, they don't care, and it burns 10 kilos per cycle. So every cycle you're going to use 10 kilos, but if you put in 180 kilos, that means you've got 18 days worth of uranium in there, and this thing's just going to be spitting out hot water all the time, and you can't control it. You need at least 9 steam turbines strapped on top of it to be able to stay on top of it, well, to keep it going. Now they give you this automation port, but it's a trick. This automation port will stop you from will stop your duplicants from refueling it. They won't put any more fuel into the reactor. But if it's already 18 days, you're in trouble. The only way you can really stop a reactor if it's doing that is you can manually deconstruct the reactor. But in this instance, we want to just run 4 steam turbines. So we want a weaker power source. So in this instance, what we're going to do is we're going to have portion control. Now over here, we're going to stick in our enriched uranium. All our enriched uranium will get dumped in there. We'll make that a high priority and we'll allow manual use. That area down there is sealed off. Perfect. This area up here, just in case anyone ever does get in here, we'll stop them from traveling through there. All the uranium should get dumped in there. That will get dropped across the line. Perfect. And how much have we got to start? A couple 100 kilos? Plenty, plenty. So, this thing uses 10 kilos in a day. And there's 600 seconds in a day. Yeah, well, there's 600 seconds in a cycle. It's one of those things you probably don't know unless you've looked up the wiki a few times, maybe a few dozen times. But that means this uses 1 kilo of uranium every 60 seconds. And we have a time sensor down here. And it says, for 5 seconds out of every 55, I want you, now ignore the rest of this, I want you to activate this auto sweeper. So this auto sweeper will activate once every 60 seconds, and we're going to put uranium into this. So we set this to hold enriched uranium, and we set it to a 1 kilo limit. This is portion control. So this auto sweeper over here goes, oh, you want 1 kilo of uranium? No problems. Hang on 1 second. And there we go, it fills up that. And then this over here is about to count down and hit its 5-second peak. Now just one other thing to note. Just ignore the AND gate for now, we'll come back to that one. This is set to, the timer is telling this is off, but there's a NOT gate here which turns on this auto sweeper. So only one of these auto sweepers can ever be on at a time because of this NOT gate. Because the signal always gets reversed here. So if this one is on, that one's off. That means when this one comes on, it will pull the uranium out of here, dump it into the research reactor, and this one will be off so it can't refresh it. This means we should only ever be able to dump 1 kilo of uranium into this research reactor. And this is about to roll around. Oh, I should probably change this down here. And down here we're going to set this to, if the temperature in here is below 180 degrees, we want more heat in here. We want more reactor power. We want more uranium. So this has now hit the green signal. Oh, oops. I never turned on the reactor. Yeah, I had to turn on the reactor there. That was one of my safety features. It's okay, we'll just reset the timer. So we reset the timer, it goes back to there. This will turn on, it will grab the kilo of uranium and dump it in. And I haven't filled anything with water, have I? Well, that was dumb. You know what, let's turn this off down here. Doesn't matter, until we get water in anyway, we'll be safe. So we'll set you to above. Give me 5 seconds while I go grab some water. I think we've got a little bit of water hanging around here somewhere. Probably there is good, actually. Thankfully, I was able to locate a little bit of water lying around the place, so we should have enough to get the reactor started. Alright, the water is going to get pumped in here. And this thing has 1 kilo of uranium in it, and what have we done? Yeah, we've made sure this is still off. We've set this to off for now. I just want to make sure that all the water goes in, because this thing's going to start immediately churning. Oh, no, that's the vacuum research reactor. Okay, once it burns through its uranium, we'll cut back in, or the 1 kilo of uranium it has, we'll cut back in and we'll actually start seeing this in action. We are ready to start this sucker up. We'll just reset the timer. That will set this to green. This thing here is requesting more heat because there's not enough in it. That means both of those will turn green. That'll turn on this auto sweeper. That auto sweeper will pick up 1 kilo of uranium, dump it into the reactor. Reactor kicks on, and let's speed up time a little bit. So as you can see, it burns through the enriched uranium, and that generates heat, which heats up the water. Now, I did some testing on a test map, and what I discovered was putting in 1 kilo at a time is actually very inefficient. For some reason, it doesn't heat the water nearly as much as it should. So what you end up doing is, well, wasting uranium. It's not giving you as much heat as you should. But what we can do is do a few changes to the timer as well. We'll wait until this actually finishes out. I want it to actually go around all the way around so you can have a look at it. You'll see it's still going, and just as it's about to run out of uranium, actually, yeah, it's about 200 and something grams. Boom. Another dose of uranium, just to keep it going. This gives you basically a 60 seconds window where you can just turn this off if you want to. But it's not perfect. So instead, what we're going to do here is we're going to set this for 600 seconds. Well, oh, wait, I should really point out this. We're going to set it to 555 seconds. 595 seconds. and then 5 seconds on. What this does is means that this will run for 600 seconds, and for 5 seconds out of every 600, it will feed the reactor. And we're going to set this to 10 kilos. This means we're fueling it once a day. It worked out a lot better when we did it this way. And I think we're good, and we'll reset the timer, and boom. 10 kilos of uranium dumped in, we are good to go. That means this thing should only ever run for a day once we've stopped feeding it. So we can shut it off with a day's notice, maximum. Otherwise we can come back in here and just flick that switch at any time of the day or night, and it will allow us to turn it off within a maximum of 600 seconds. I think that's a good deal, and this way we should be able to run 4 little steam turbines. Oh, there goes some water. No, the steam drops down here in the nuclear waste, and this is going to boil this water after a while. It's going to take a bit of time because it's pretty cold, and we put in quite a chunk of it to make sure there's a decent steam pool in here. But let's fast forward this a little bit in time and see how our little mini reactor works out. All the water has evaporated. We've got our steam pressure up and running, about 35 kilos of pressure in here. That's good. Oh, this only if the pressure is above 500 kilos. I think I messed it up. That should be only if the pressure is above 500 kilos. That will extract the nuclear waste. And then the nuclear waste should go up there. Perfect. Now, please. What the? Where? Oh, god damn it. Yeah, I don't see any supercoolant. What happened to supercoolant? God damn it. Maybe I can put it... I'll put in another blob of supercoolant and see if that fixes the issue. What are we at? Yeah, I'll have to do that really quick. I'm curious to see if this actually works. I've never tried it with this stuff. Let's see, put that straight to liquids. And come on, what happens? Deleted. Great. Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to turn off the nuclear reactor and send over some petroleum. We don't really have a choice, I'm afraid. If we don't do this, we're going to end up with nuclear waste clogging up our system. Damn it, I'm going to need some petroleum to do that. Okay, I'll have to leave that for tomorrow. But this is going to be the start of our aquatic layer. I'm going to seal in across here. We're going to drain this water out, so we have more space to put in Bristle Blossoms, and we'll dump all that water into liquid tanks. That way we won't affect the actual water level on the planet, and no one will be any the wiser. Who's the no one's looking? I don't know, right? It's just the way we've decided to go with this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and good luck.